Ahoy there. DP Higgs at your service, bringing to you the last 20 minutes of an interview I held with Micheal G last Sunday. His belief system revolves around the idea that humans were created as a slave race by aliens. At your leisure, you're welcome to have a look at the full-length video, which I will post on my YouTube channel. I look forward to any suggestions or comments you may have. Thanks so much for your time. Cheers and enjoy.
And this is why I came down, because I know it's an almost impossible subject to talk to. There's thousands of, now, okay, you brought up a good point. Am I the only person that's come up with this and nobody else knows?
No, I didn't say that. What I was trying to suggest is that, is there an equivalent possibility that other people have done the same amount of research, the same amount of studying, but have come up with different results?
Of course.
Which they feel just as passionate
Absolutely,
and certain.
absolutely.
So how do you differentiate between what you've come up with and what they've come up with, and how do you determine which of those two things is true?
Well, until we can prove it, that's why we call it a belief system. Because the other people are crazy and I'm not. Now, the thing is, right now there's thousands, literally, if not millions, of people that are following this step. The Russians were way ahead of us. A lot of Russian writers back in the 60s already, right? The thing is, sometimes humanity, I'm hoping that humanity can pull itself up by the bootstraps. I think we have that ability. The thing is, we're coming to a crux, and the more we are aware that a lot of this is manufactured, like right now, the world politics and everything, the amount of manufactured reality is mind-boggling.
Well, you have to, would you agree that there are plenty of religious groups out there, and certainly people who write the year-end predictions for the next coming year, that they're as certain that the world is coming to a crux.
Well, here's the thing.
As everybody else is in every other year.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
absolutely.
what is making anything more
what I'm
true?
saying, okay, doesn't matter whether
time?
it doesn't matter, and I heard this from religious people before.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, but when the apocalypse comes, God's going to save me, right?
Yes.
So, in my perspective is, it doesn't matter how many people believe Islam or don't believe or accept this as a vision of the reality or not. But when the crunch comes, and it might be disclosed, a huge disclosure might come out. The crunch comes once they have all the fail-safe mechanisms in place. They suddenly go, guess what? We've actually been off-planet trading for the last 100 years. This is the reality. We're going to have off-worlders living here, and blah, blah, blah. There's nothing we can do now because everything is so electronically controlled. Because we're this far away from
that is kind of
electronic banding.
That is the premise of the X-Files.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, okay.
It kind of, but though I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I mean, I never watched it anyway. But I know they redid it, and that's often what they do is predictive programming. A lot of the stuff that they do, like when Arnold Schwarzenegger came out of his movie, it was supposed to be released a few days after 9/11. It was exactly about that thing. Right? So there's been a lot of predictive programming in the last 30, 40 years. But that notwithstanding, what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. The thing is, we're hooped if the world keeps on going like this. Doesn't matter who's controlling us, whether it's a spaghetti monster, off-worlders, or God, some insane Jehovah, right? Doesn't matter. We're hooped. The only thing is, if you are prepared mentally for a disclosure effect or kind of thing, or the fascist system does come down in the next few years, it won't be a new thing in your mind. People, even though they might not believe it, once you've been exposed to a certain amount of ideas, that by the time the world changes, you've been exposed already. And it's like, you might say, inoculation. It won't take you further. So that's me just speaking about that. I'm, again, not saying it will happen or this is why.
Okay.
I'm just saying the possibility, and that's why it should get disseminated. It doesn't matter what the information is, whether it's Christian Armageddon or aliens coming here.
But can you imagine a world where none of that is true? Where the influence of an alien technology on us is not true. This other stuff. Can you imagine that?
No, 20 years maybe. Now, to tell you the truth, this is me, right? But this is how deep this belief is now. 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I could imagine that. Now I know too much, I've thought about it too much, I've read too much, I've been exposed to it too much, and I can unequivocally say there's nothing I could do to make that happen. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I am fully convinced that what my opinion is what the reality is. That's about as concise as I can get on that one. But again, saying I don't expect other people to believe it. I know it's a hard thing to swallow. I know it sounds like just falling off the gravy train.
Believe me, I mean, it's not. I mean, I can't say that I've had this exact same conversation with somebody else, but I mean, people like their beliefs.
Of course
they
do.
They have attachments to them.
Well, that's how we survive.
That's kind of what makes their world.
Well, of
right?
course.
How they work with it. So the only thing, and we'll tie this up, is that like the kind of one of the last questions I asked was whether or not, or how you could discern the truth of what you have come to believe in after 50 years of kind of researching this and whatnot, and what somebody else spending an equivalent amount of time and passion and intelligence and effort and arriving at a completely different conclusion. How is it that those two things can independently exist and not both be true? How can you discern that? That is.
I don't know if it.
That's the ultimate question.
Well, you see, but I'm not trying to disprove anybody else.
No, I know.
And the other thing is, I don't have any control. Nobody has any control. It's a lot of it is chance, what they were exposed to, what they were reading, how their upbringing, how religious they are.
Of course.
Blah blah blah.
That's why
I'm an atheist.
That's why,
I was born an atheist.
That's why someone born in India would more likely be a Hindu, right?
Yeah, that's right. But
than a Christian.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, I was born into a Catholic family, but I'm an atheist from the day I was born. I was an atheist because I saw through the idiocy of religion. I wasn't even able to walk and talk yet. Anyway, that's how I saw that. I was an atheist from day one. As you go on, how do I know he's wrong? I have no idea what he's talking about. You haven't told me who it is. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what he's read. I don't know if he was abused as a child. All I know is what I've done, right? All I know is how I've thought my whole life. All I know is how I've predicted whether something is true or false, and 90% of the time I'm right. So if I come and wait 50 years almost to come to a conclusion, I took my time getting there. I took my time. I always thought UFOs were here. I always believed the ancient stories. I mean, UFOs are here, what they are, who knows what they are, but they're well documented by airline pilots, military people. So we know this is around. We know the ancient stories exist. We know that history gets convoluted and changed. So we know this. So I have always had that ability to change my mind. I used to think Troy was in Turkey.
Okay.
It's not. Never has been, never will. The ancient Greeks said Troy is not our story, it comes from Northern Europe. Because guess where the Greeks came from? Northern Europe. The stories of Troy come from the year 1200, the end of the Bronze Age. Most people don't know that. At the end of the Bronze Age, it was brought to Southern Europe, the story was, by Homer. Homer was not a Greek, he was a Celt. Pythagoras, he learned all his mathematics from a Celt druid. Another little known fact that people don't know. Anyway, what I'm saying is, so you look at those facts, the Greeks saying Homer came from the Northern Europe, he brought the stories with him, so they didn't take place in Anatolia. The thing they said was Troy, a little town the size of the city block. 3 Greeks and a horse could have taken that over. Anyway, so
I think there's a
giving
difference between an account of facts and facts.
That's right. That's right. And there's no facts that say Troy was where it is.
Well,
the Trojan. No. That's
anyway.
No, what I'm saying, this is how easily.
Gotten...
Exactly. No, what I'm talking about. It's very important to this discussion. What I'm saying is, this is how easily a huge battle that's recorded in history, and everybody took as a real history of a battle, how easily, first of all, it got transposed, and the timelines got lost. Every Trojan scholar knows that the story comes from 1200 BC, the ancient, the end of the Bronze Age. Every Greek scholar knows that. So why can't they? Every Greek scholar knows that Homer was not a that Homer was not yet the stories they teach in school. They don't tell you anything about the actualities. That's what I'm saying, is about how simple truths that seemingly shouldn't have anything to do with anything, like why they would hide the information. Sometimes it's just ease of forgetfulness, that these simple things that should illuminate something very differently, simple information gets lost really easy. What I'm saying, this is why we're in a predicament of historical amnesia and the way we are able to think about history, because often it gets so twisted. So the ability to look past the twisting and see how it's twisted, you don't need to know the truth, but at least know that this has been twisted. You can see that it's been twisted. Like when you listen to a psychopath confess, or a sociopath, or not confess, but trying to weave a story about what happened during the committal of a crime, you can see the weaving, the nonsensical weaving that goes through it, right? Mm-hmm. And the same if you're awake or you're used to it, because it's easy to get brainwashed. Not brainwashed, that's a bad word. It's easy to get waylaid intellectually by reading something that you have no experience with, right? And this is what happens in school. If you notice in school, that are the things we get involved with are very small and very shallow. So by the time you go through 4 or 5 years of high school, you've touched on everything a little bit, right? And this will inform you. That one, I'm sorry. And that will inform you for the rest of your life, right? All these little tidbits of slight misinformation. So that's why it's very hard to really actually talk about what it means to be scholarly, what it means to be to take some information and take it as fact, and take others as a marginal probability, and taking something else as a high probability. That takes many years of training and very many years of studying and thinking about things and seeing how they lead down into the how things follow from that, right? Anyway, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Well, that was an interesting conversation. Yeah, for sure. Like I say, I didn't, and I hope I wasn't in any way dismissive or anything.
No, that's fine.
Because like I say, my essential goal is trying to find out not what you believe, but how you got there, and how you are as confident as you are in what led you to accept all the current belief, right?
Yeah.
So and then acknowledging that we don't all have the same conclusions about what's going on in the world, how those things can be equally true. Is there a better and more reliable method by which we can take those two things and say, okay, is the method by which he arrived at his conclusions more reliable, more testable, more falsifiable than his?
Well, let's put it this way. You have actually a really good point. And the thing is, I always tell people, do your research. With Trudeau, people voted in Trudeau think he's going to be like, the next best thing since sliced bread.
Every election.
Exactly. And I go, no, he's not. Oh, you don't know, you're just a Trudeau hater. No, because he's a politician. He's going to get elected as prime minister. He's going to be whatever he's going to be. He's told to be. That's the difference between somebody that doesn't need to look into every story because I've had enough experience with it, and somebody that never really bothered to think what politics is all about. So once you've reached that point of I understand what's going to happen when the president gets into the head office, I understand what's going to happen when Prime Minister Trudeau, I don't get waylaid by the facts. What they portray to be facts, right, which is the story of the day, right? The red towel of the day. You look behind the scenes. What are the outcomes of their policies, right? What are the outcomes? What are the things? Where are we going to? What are we avoiding? That's where the story lies. Not whether SNC Lavalin was guilty of bribery or whatever. That's all. It's a puppet show for people. Anyway, but that's the thing. It's sometimes when you have a discussion, you must understand that when somebody has done something for 50 years, and only has come to a conclusion in the last couple of years that it wasn't a simple mechanism. It was a part of researching all the sides, researching all the opinions, all the opinions of it, and researching the logic and certain things, researching the scheming and the backstabbing in politics that make no sense, right?
But I
researching.
could almost guarantee you, I could have this conversation either in the past or at some point in the future where the exact same things are being said right now, and that the conclusions are different.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm
John Pope
saying.
is running it from a deep bunker down in, I know.
Okay, well, I've got it right.
Anyway, thanks, Gary.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that was
Thank
awesome.
you. Awesome.
All I'm saying is, that, like I say, I don't hope to persuade anybody into anything, because you can't force somebody to into an idea. An idea is like a garden where you lie down and you go, this is nice, right? If you have to force somebody into the garden,
they're not gonna
enjoy.
like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is to get exposure to those ideas. The next time you see an article about something that might pique your interest in a different way, you might read things in a different way.
I do try to read opposing opinions just to make sure there's a
but I'm
balance.
saying even
There's this
hearing,
confirmation bias, right?
There's an old saying, and I think Einstein might have said it even, you have to force your brain to think about something that's impossible. Because that's the way we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So the more resistance there is to an idea often, that means it's actually getting in. I've talked to people where they just go, oh yeah, well yeah, that sounds really good. No. Everything's gone in one ear and out the other. They weren't listening. It's actually sometimes, and I just had this realization, it's actually better if somebody's totally opposed and adamantly going, no, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, right? But if you can talk like we just did for an hour and a half or whatever, then actually it will change the person. It will do something. Like I said, I don't expect anybody to go, oh, I'll jump on the bandwagon, but it will change your pattern. Yeah, exposure to the impossible always does.
There you go.
And
maybe there's a pedal. And maybe there's a pedal in your shoe now too as well.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's. Oh, this is the most fun since I opened that mug of crystals.
Right on.
Anyway,
Thanks again.
no problem.
All right. And
when I
if
get
you want to do it again,
when I get
I will-
enthusiastic,
and that's great. I'll put it on YouTube and I'll send you a link.
Awesome.
So you
Awesome.
have a
And we'll do it again.
And what I'll do
we
is
can do it
because
about
it's-
something another
Absolutely.
topic.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll probably break it into three because just so
They're
people
long.
can take it in chunks, right?
Yeah.
So.
Part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah, exactly.
That way they can go to coffee without feeling guilty.
And take a pee or something like that.
No, I'm
Exactly.
serious. That was the most fun. I've been wanting to do something like this forever, right?
Right on.
And I was going, I can't plan on it. You can't plan on it because if I plan on it, it'll get too flustered, right?
Right.
And I try to spend every time somebody's willing to listen now, I'm trying to do that spiel
Right on.
and try to keep it concise and keep it going in a certain
Right.
direction and
manner.
logic and starting
Right.
somewhere and moving on, right? I'm still learning, so.
Cool.
Anyway.
All right.
Have
Thanks,
a good
man.
pool tournament.
Yeah. Thanks. See ya. And there you go. So I'll probably break this down into 3 parts. Thanks for your patience, and I certainly appreciate any feedback that you might offer on this conversation, particularly in how I interviewed and how my questions went. Thank you very much. And thanks for watching. Now, if you liked what you saw, please like the channel and help me get 100 subscribers so that I can get my own name attached to this channel. Make it a lot easier rather than that long one that you saw earlier. Thanks again. Oi.